Okay, so we're continuing our football club history series. We're looking at Dundee Football Club in this video. We've done a video on Dundee United, their biggest and nearest rivals, who literally play across the road in Dundee. Now, Dundee Football Club, their story starts in 1893 as a merger of two clubs in order to form the current Dundee Football Club. So they merged Dundee East End and Dundee Our Boys to form Dundee Football Club. They play at Dens Park, current capacity of 11,775. And they've won every Scottish trophy you can win. They've also had some European semi-finals in their history. Now, they haven't been successful for a very, very long time. They're currently in the Scottish Championship, and Dundee United are currently in the Scottish Premiership, so that rivalry hasn't been taking place. But they've won the Scottish Premiership, the Scottish Cup, the Scottish League Cup, and the Scottish Challenge Cup, and also had two European semi-finals in their history. They've had various spells where they've actually been a pretty decent side. Their early decades, they're making a lot of. They've made cup finals. They're runners-up in the league quite a few seasons in a decade. It's been since the mid-70s since they've really been successful. The Challenge Cup is the Scottish equivalent of the Football League trophy, so it's for those lower division sides. They've won that twice as well, but that's a minor trophy. But they've won all the major Scottish honours. So let's have a look at their silverware. So they've won the Scottish Premiership just the once, but they've been runners-up 4 times. So the one season they do win the Scottish League title is the 61-62 season. Now, they've been runners-up 4 times. 3 times before World War I and once since the Second World War. So before World War I, in the decade leading up to the First World War, they were runners-up in the 1902-1903 season, the 1906-1907 season, and the 1908-1909 season. They were also runners-up post-World War II in the 48-49 season. So, league titles, just the one. Not very successful in the league, although they've come close a few times to being more successful. Scottish Cup, they've won just the once in the 1909-1910 season. They've been runners-up 4 times in that competition. 1924-25, so in between the 2 world wars, and 3 times since the Second World War, in the 51-52 season, the 63-64 season, and the 2000-2003 season. Now, in the 51-52 season, they were going for a cup double. They won one, they lost one, because in the Scottish League Cup, that is where the club has had its most success. They've won the Scottish League Cup 3 times, and been runners-up 3 times. So, they've won the Scottish League Cup in 51-52, nearly did a cup double that year. The 52-53 season, they win it again. So, back-to-back titles is actually quite hard to do, unless you're Rangers or Celtic in Scottish football, and in the 73-74 season. So they've won it 3 times. The 73-74 season is their last major piece of silverware. So they haven't been successful since the mid-70s, but they were runners-up 3 times in the Scottish League Cup in the 67-68 season, where they also made the Intercities Fairs Cup semi-final. The 1980-81 season they were runners-up, and the 95-96 season they were also runners-up. The Scottish Challenge Cup is for those lower division sides, similar to the Football League trophy. They won that in the 1990-91 season and 2009 and 2010 season. So that's a minor trophy, runners-up in the 94-95 season. As I said, they've made 2 European semi-finals. The old European Cup, which is now the Champions League, they were semi-finalists in the 62-63 season, following on from their Scottish Premiership title. And the old Intercities Fair Cup, which became the UEFA Cup, which ultimately became the Europa League, they were semi-finalists in the 67-68 season. So they had some fair runs in Europe in the 1960s. But, as I say, they haven't been successful with major honours since the 70s, since the 73-74 season, which is a shame because they've been runners-up quite a bit, and they've got to some cup finals in more modern times where they could have lifted silverware. Now, their main rivals, Dundee United, it's a given because literally the stadiums are separated by a road, and St Johnstone from Perth. They're their other major rival when the 2 sides clash. It's a heated rivalry. Obviously, the old firm. Obviously, Celtic and Rangers are always seen as rivals by every other club in Scotland. So there we go. There's a brief history of Dundee Football Club. Less successful than I think people would have liked, but they have a fair bit of silverware in there. And it does prove historically that Scottish football is more than just Celtic and Rangers, although obviously in more recent times it has been dominated by the old firm, which I think has negatively impacted Scottish football. But back in the day, many clubs won silverware in Scotland, and I'll be looking at some more football clubs in Scotland whose glory days may be passed behind them, but have silverware, and they're not called Rangers or Celtic. So thank you very much for watching. Please place your thoughts in the comments section below, and I'll have some more content for you very, very soon.